Right now, you are sitting somewhere safe. Maybe indoors. Maybe with a door that locks. Maybe with walls between you and everything outside. You have never, not once in your entire life, had to genuinely worry that something was going to eat you tonight. Now imagine this. No walls, no door, no weapon beyond what you could make with your hands and a sharp rock. And out there, in the dark, things that could kill you in seconds. Not metaphorically, not as a statistic, literally waiting. That was every night for 200,000 years. And here's what nobody thinks to ask. How did we survive it? Not just survive, because the fossil record says something that should genuinely disturb you. Early humans were not apex predators, not even close. For most of our evolutionary history, we were prey. The same fossils that show us our earliest ancestors also show us the tooth marks. Leopard bites on Australopithecus skulls, eagle talon marks on children's bones, crocodile strike patterns on adults who never made it back from the water. We were on the menu, and the predators that hunted us were not the ones you're picturing. Forget lions. Lions are dangerous, but lions are also relatively predictable. They hunt in open grassland. You can see them coming. You can run. You can climb. The predator that killed more early humans than almost anything else was one most people never think about. Leopards. Leopards are ambush hunters. They don't chase. They wait. They drop from trees. They take prey from above, from behind, from angles you never saw coming. Paleoanthropologist Bob Brain spent years studying the Swartkrans cave system in South Africa, one of the richest fossil sites of early human ancestors on Earth. What he found was this. The skulls of Australopithecus and early Homo found in those caves had two distinctive holes, perfectly spaced, perfectly sized. They matched the lower canine teeth of a leopard. Leopards were dragging our ancestors into trees, the same way they drag impala today, up, out of reach of scavengers, to be eaten slowly. This was not rare. This was regular. For hundreds of thousands of years, going to sleep near a tree was a gamble. But leopards weren't the only threat. In East Africa, where much of early human evolution played out, the predator guild was unlike anything alive today. Dinofelis, a false saber-toothed cat roughly the size of a modern lion, specialized in killing primates. Its fossils appear repeatedly alongside early human remains. Pachycrocuta, the giant hyena, twice the size of a modern spotted hyena, bone-crushing jaws that could process a human skull completely. It didn't just scavenge, it hunted. And the cave hyena, still alive until relatively recently, would follow human groups for days, waiting for someone to fall behind. At night, when the darkness was complete and the fire was low, the sounds outside the camp were not abstract. They were specific. They were close. And sometimes, they were moving. So how did we survive? The first answer is fire. We covered this in another video, but it's worth saying again here because the numbers are stark. A campfire creates a circle of safety roughly 30 feet in diameter. Inside that circle, large predators don't come. The combination of light, heat, and smell disrupts their hunting patterns. But fire alone wasn't enough, because fire requires fuel. Fuel requires collection. Collection requires leaving the camp. And leaving the camp, especially at dawn or dusk, was when you were most vulnerable. The second answer is something far more interesting: cooperation. Not the vague, feel-good idea of cooperation, specific, tactical, dangerous cooperation. Here's what the archaeological and anthropological evidence shows. Early human groups developed warning systems, not sophisticated ones, specific sounds, specific calls, patterns of behavior that communicated something is wrong, something is close, move now, move this direction. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer groups have documented that these groups maintain what's essentially a distributed threat awareness network. Different individuals are responsible for watching different directions. Certain members scan the trees, others watch the grass line, others monitor the behavior of other animals, because prey animals react to predators before humans can see them. The behavior of a herd of antelope suddenly freezing and staring in one direction is information. Your ancestors learned to read it. They had to. But here's where it gets genuinely extraordinary. Humans didn't just survive predators. At some point, we turned the equation around. And the tool that made this possible wasn't a spear, it was persistence. In 2004, biologist Dennis Bramble and paleoanthropologist Daniel Lieberman published a paper in Nature that changed how we understand the human body. Their argument was this: humans are the best long-distance runners on Earth. Not the fastest, not even close to the fastest. A cheetah runs 70 miles per hour, a lion runs 50, a human runs maybe 12 on a good day. But speed is not the only variable. Humans can run continuously in heat for hours. No other predator on Earth can do this. A lion can sprint at 50 miles per hour. It can maintain that for about 300 meters. Then it has to stop. Its body overheats, its muscles lock, it pants to cool down. A human, by contrast, sweats. 2 to 4 million sweat glands covering the entire body surface. The most efficient cooling system in the animal kingdom. Combined with a body plan specifically built for sustained running, the Achilles tendon as a spring, the gluteus maximus as a stabilizer, the ability to breathe independently of stride. What this meant in practice was something almost impossible to believe. Small groups of early humans could chase large prey animals, including dangerous ones, at a moderate pace in the midday heat until the animal simply collapsed from heat exhaustion. This is called persistence hunting. It still exists. The Sand people of the Kalahari Desert have been documented doing it within living memory. A group of men tracking a kudu or a wildebeest, maintaining a trot, following for hours, reading the tracks, pushing the animal before it can fully rest, until eventually the animal stands still and lets them walk up to it. Not because it stopped caring, because it literally couldn't move anymore. The animal that could outrun any human in a sprint was killed by the human's ability to not stop. But persistence hunting worked for prey. What about active predators? What happened when the threat wasn't something you chased, but something that was chasing you? This is where the evidence points to something that shouldn't be underestimated: collective defense. In 2009, primatologist Christoph Bosch documented chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, engaging in coordinated group defense against leopards. Not running, not hiding, actively mobbing. A group of chimpanzees, on encountering a leopard, will scream, charge, throw objects, and physically attack the predator as a coordinated group until it retreats. Early humans almost certainly did the same. Probably with more sophistication. Probably with tools. The earliest confirmed wooden spear, the Schöningen spear from Germany, is approximately 300,000 years old, balanced like a javelin. Designed not just for throwing, but for controlled thrusting. A group of 10 humans with spears, acting together, could threaten animals that would easily kill any one of them alone. The math changes completely. A leopard that can kill one human in seconds becomes a very different calculation when 10 humans are standing together, screaming and pointing sharp things at it. Predators are not stupid. They do a cost-benefit analysis every time they hunt. Risk of injury versus likelihood of a meal. A coordinated human group shifted that calculation so far against the predator that attacking them simply wasn't worth it. And then there was the knowledge. This is the part almost nobody talks about. The most powerful survival tool early humans had wasn't fire. It wasn't the spear. It wasn't even cooperation. It was the accumulated knowledge of generations of humans who had survived. Every person in a group who had encountered a leopard and lived to tell about it represented information. Where leopards liked to hide, what time of day they hunted, which trees they used, which sounds preceded an attack, which behaviors from prey animals indicated a leopard was nearby. This knowledge was not written down. It was spoken. It was demonstrated. It was passed from person to person around fires at night, which, if you think about it, is exactly the environment most likely to produce stories about predators. In the dark, when the sounds were outside. When everyone had reason to listen carefully. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner documented that night conversations among the Juhoansi Bushmen, conducted around fires, were dramatically more likely to involve stories about dangerous animals and close calls than daytime conversations. The campfire wasn't just warmth, it was a classroom, and the most important lessons were about what was out there in the dark. Here is where it connects to you. You have never been hunted. Not really. Not in the way your ancestors were hunted every single day of their lives. But your brain was built inside that world. The reason you check behind you in a parking garage at night is not irrational. It is 200,000 years of leopard. The reason a sudden loud noise makes your heart rate spike before you've even processed what it was is because the humans whose hearts didn't spike that fast didn't survive long enough to become your ancestors. The reason you feel uneasy in tall grass, or near dense forest, or in spaces where you can't see what might be watching you, that's not anxiety. That's the oldest software your brain is running. The predators are gone, but the code that kept your ancestors alive in a world full of them is still there, running in the background, every single day. For 200,000 years, every human who ever lived woke up in a world that was actively trying to kill them and found a way to make it to the next morning. Not alone, not through individual strength, not through speed or size or natural weaponry, through fire, through cooperation, through knowledge passed in the dark to people who needed it to survive. We are here because they were extraordinary. And every time you feel that irrational flicker of fear in the dark, that's them, still keeping you alive.